So hello everyone, this is Ryan again. I'm coming to you from my dining room, and we're going to go through lesson 6 of Word today. So if you go to your class notebook in Teams, remember Teams you log into through office.com, you go to office.com, you sign in with your student ID number at stu.highlineschools.org, use the same password you log into desktop computers with, and then it'll open to your Microsoft Office home, and you can click on Teams to open Teams, and then you can get into Class Notebook, click Class Notebook. Now I've noticed something with Teams here. So I'll go to the content library, and I sit here for a while, and I'm watching the little thing spin, and spin, and I'm realizing that maybe this is not going to happen anytime soon. So I'd like to show you another way when something like this happens and you can't get to your part of your class notebook or the class notebook at all through Teams. Well, the class notebook is housed in the OneNote app, which is really a separate app. It's just integrated into Teams. We can let this sit there and go for a while. I'm not sure it's going to load anytime soon. So we're going to go to OneNote, and I'll show you how to get to that. So when you go to Microsoft Office Home, back to your home, so that should also be open. It'll open Teams in a separate tab. If you click on OneNote, you'll go to OneNote, and you might see into your recent, your Microsoft Imagine Academy 2020 notebook, which is the same one that was created in Teams. If not, if you click on My Notebooks, or if you click on Class Notebooks, either one of those should have your Microsoft Imagine Academy 2020 notebook. So if you click on it, it'll open there, and we can try to open it here instead. And maybe it'll open here. I don't know. It's still not open in Teams. So let's see if it'll open here. So I'm going to click on Content Library here. I'm going to click on Word, and it's starting to do the same thing. But let's see who wins, whether it's Teams or whether it's OneNote by itself. While this is loading, I'll tell you about what we're going to do. Lesson 6 is about tables, and what's nice about tables is that in the online version of Word, tables are pretty much the same as they are in Word, the desktop app. There's a few differences. There's some things you just can't do in the online version that you can do in the app version. It's not that much different though. There's not really all that much that's different. It's really about, it's a special way that you can change the you can draw a table in the desktop version of Word as opposed to the online version where you can do a couple of different ways of creating a table, but you just can't draw one. And are neither of these gonna win? Seems like it. I thought I got this one earlier to work, but apparently not. Let's try it again. I'll try it from recent maybe. So also, if you use OneNote versus Teams, in OneNote you can have OneNote open in one tab and have Teams open in another tab, and you can then access both those kind of at the same time. So you could switch back and forth between those two tabs as opposed to switching back and forth between the tabs. Like I could just open the files here, and maybe that'll help me open the Word documents over here. So I could open the files. We do have new files for lesson 6. So, all right. I'm going to get to the actual content for you because I can also open it in my OneNote desktop app, and it might open a little bit quicker. I'll keep checking on that, though, to see if it's going to open for me. I'll keep monitoring that, and if that becomes a problem, we'll have to make some other arrangements here. But here's what you're going to see. So it starts with creating a table, and we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start with a new blank Word document, so I can actually launch Word from the Microsoft Office home. So I'm just going to go ahead and click a Word and click a new blank document. We're just going to make some tables. Okay. Has this opened yet? Possibly. Not yet. Doesn't look like it. All right. So I'll switch back to this so you guys can at least get the instructions. So there are two ways in Word Online you can create a table. You'll be able to do the drag method. In this one, we're going to drag we're going to make a 5x2 by dragging. So you can click and drag, and I'll show you that. And then we can save it. So here we go. We're going to go back to this one. Click Insert. Click the table drop down, and then just select. So if we go 5x2, click that, and it creates a 5x2 table for us. We can save this by clicking Save As. We can click Save As again. We can call this Tables, is what they want us to call it. If I want to save it to a different folder, I can click Save to a different folder, and then I can choose where to save it. Microsoft Imagine Academy, Word, and then because I'm starting lesson 6, I need to go ahead and create a new folder called lesson 6. Oops. Lesson 6. There we go. Click create, and then we'll open that folder and save there. Okay. Now we can also do the next part of it. See if this is open yet. Not yet. The next part of it, which is using a dialog box. So we're going to leave the same. We're going to use the same document. We're going to add a different table. This one's going to be a 9x3. So 9 columns, 3 rows. So go back here. We'll click out of there. We click Insert. Click on Table again. This time we're just going to go down and click Insert Table, and then it gives us a pop-up here. We can specify the number of columns, 9 in this case, and the number of rows, 3, and click OK. So that's the other way to create a table in the Word Online version. You'll see in the instructions it goes through drawing a table in, and that's only going to be able to be done in the desktop version. And that allows you to do some much different things. We're going to just skip all that because you can't do any of it in online. You also cannot insert a quick table online either. Quick tables are just like built-in tables that are kind of for common uses, like a calendar or things like that. So that's kind of nice that you can add those tables really quickly if you need a table like that. We're going to move on to formatting tables. So applying styles is a little bit different. We're going to open up a file from the files. Let's see if this is open yet. Still not. Okay. We're going to open the client's document. So remember, click the three dots. We're going to click Open, and then we'll click Open in Word Online. Okay. Now, when we open this, we are going to be able to affect styles. The difference is in how you do the styles. So we still want to make sure we see how this table file or menu option is blue. That's what they call a context tab. Just means it's a tab that only shows up when you have something like that. In this case, a table available. Okay. So here's our gallery of table styles here. Okay. Now what you see in here is going to depend on what the underlying style of the document is. So in this case, when we go back to our instructions real quick, it's going to ask us, it says on Table Tools Design tab in the Table Styles group, click More, and then you see there's 3 options available, Plain, Grid, and List, which you'll still see in online. And it says to scroll down and find in the 3rd row in the grid table 3, accent 3, which is not exactly the same as you do it in the online version. In the online version, we only have one option for each of the grid plane or list tables, only one color option. To change the color, we can click on Change Colors and choose one of the different colors. If you mouse over the color for a little bit, it'll show you what accent it is. This one is accent 3, which is the one we want. So if we select accent 3, then we click on the drop-down, you'll see now it's all the grid tables and the list tables are in that color. And then we want grid table 3. There it is. Click it, and it'll apply that style. So you can still do the same thing, just not exactly the same way. Okay, so we can save this as client's table is what they want you to save it as. So let's go back. We can do file. We can do a save as. Although I should have done that beforehand. That was my fault. I'll have to fix that. Save another folder. Remember to save these before you start because they'll automatically save. So I'm going to have to go back and fix that, which I'll do before, hopefully before tomorrow. So anyway, Microsoft Imagine Academy. Remember, we want to save these ahead of time. Word, lesson 6. And then we're going to save copy here. There we go. That's what I should have done the first time. Anyway. All right, moving along. Let's just see if this is working. Still not. Okay, not worried about it. Just going to move on. We can also change individual styles. Again, it's not going to be done in the same way. There's not going to be this pop-up dialog box that we're going to see. We can just apply some formatting, like the first column or the last column or things like that, and I'll show that, and then I'll show you how to change like font and stuff. That changing font is just like changing font normally. So in this, if I go to the table tab, I can choose some of the style options here. So I can choose if there's a header row, if there's a total row, if I want banded rows, which you see is already selected. If there's a first column, a last column, so I'm going to click first column so that it changes the first column to a different formatting to show that there's a different first column than the rest of the table. I can also apply a different font to the table by first selecting the whole table. So I'm going to click the select button here and select the whole table. Then I'm going to click home, and we're just going to change it like we would any other text. Click the drop down in the text, scroll down to find it. We want Garamond, as I recall. Garamond, there we go. It should change everything to Garamond. There it does. Then we wanted bold, italic, 12 point, olive green accent 3, darker 50%. So hopefully remember all that. Let's see if I do. We want bold, italic. There we go. Italic. And then under the color, we're going to choose accent 3, but we want darker 50%. And there we go. So now that changes everything in the table. Okay. So, and it'll automatically save. So another thing we can do is to change the size of the table and change the size of the individual cells. So a table is composed of cells. So if I click on this, so these are individual cells that we have the rows going across and the columns going down. So sometimes it helps us to see the grid lines of the table so that we can see whether like where the grid lines are, even if there aren't any actual lines. I don't know that we'll be able to see those here. Let's see if we can make it look a little more like what we see in the desktop app, but and I'm not sure that we can see the grid lines, which, you know, we can live with. We'll just try and figure out the best we can where things are. So we should be able to see things though. But you can still add columns like this by clicking plus here, or doing it. I think you can do it on. So you can add columns in between or add rows in between if you want. We can just resize by hand though. That's easy enough to do. So if we want to resize a column, we just click in between, and we can click and drag. Right. So if I wanted to make this column bigger so that I could change the size of that to fit the phone number, or if I want to make sure that the things like that, any of the titles there, I'm okay with stuff like that. Maybe make this one bigger, this one smaller, right? We can also adjust the size here. I can adjust the size out here, might make it easier to work with. There we go. I believe we can also, if we wanted to select some columns, and if I right click, that doesn't look like I can distribute columns here. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's an option, but that normally would be an option. That's an auto sizing option. The auto sizing options don't look like they're available, but we can just resize by clicking and dragging. So you pretty much can kind of ignore most of this in terms of resizing, because the only resizing that you're going to worry about is by clicking and dragging. So you can click and drag for both rows and columns. Actually, it looks like just columns, not rows. So we can just resize the columns, which is no big deal. All right, adding a first row, creating a header row. So a header row will usually have a list of things that or the header or the headings that tell you what everything is. So what we're going to do is we're just going to insert a row above here. So I'm going to insert a row above. Now, it's going to start and look just like any other row. And that's for what I'm doing, that's fine for now. We're going to go ahead and just click on a header row though, and it'll automatically change it. So now I can just type in what I want and then hit tab to move to the next cell. So that's what I'm going to do. And so we're going to put in, let's see, company name, put contact person there, and I think we're going to merge those two. That's probably a good thing. And then telephone number, number of current open positions, position title, date posted, and notes. So we'll probably have to come back to this, but that's all right. So we got company name, contact person. I think that was supposed to be phone number, but we'll see. Oops, didn't mean to open that. Telephone number, number of current open positions, telephone number, oops, number of, and I'm going to have to fix that, current open positions. That was my fault. Probably should. There we go. That looks a little better. Position title, date posted, notes. Okay. Position title, date posted, and notes. Okay, and again, we already selected it as a header row, so we can, and that header row is gonna, that styling is gonna be based on what we did here, and that was, again, that was grid table 3 accent 3 is the one we had chosen. So what we can do is, because this is separated into 2 columns for first name, last name, we can take these 2 and merge. And then delete that first row because it was combining the two cells worth of data, which it put an extra space or an extra row in there just because. And I don't. Let's see if we can sort. I'm not sure we can sort, but let's find out. I'm not sure that we can, but I figured we'd go ahead and take a look here. Doesn't look like we can, which is no big deal. Sorting would allow you to put everything in order. It's not a big deal for this. It's okay. It's something you'll be able to do in the Word app. Of course, yeah, we already merged those two cells. You can also split cells. That's another option. So if we go ahead and open, we're going to open a different document to do this, though. I think. Oh, maybe not. Let's maybe this one. So, we already showed merge cells. If I said I didn't want to do that, like I wanted to split those cells, I can split these cells back apart, right? So I would click on split cells here. I would want 2 columns, 1 row. Yes, click, and then it would give me the 2 columns, 1 row, just like I did. So merging, splitting cells is an option that you can do. The other kind of pieces of this, cell margins, and don't think are available. Again, it's one of those things that when it comes to the online version, it's a scaled down version, so we're just worried about kind of the basics of tables. So being able to change the style, change the content, add a header row, change kind of those style options, those rows, stuff like that. That's pretty much what you're going to focus on. It's most of the stuff that you can do in the Word. You can add alternative text. That is an option. So we can add alternative text to a table. Alternative text, remember, is for people with sight difficulties or other issues. So in the alt text, we're going to do listing by company, and then so alt text. This is called listing by company, and then the description. Let's see what we're supposed to say. Contact listing of individuals by company. The listing includes phone numbers, current positions that are open, and titles for the contact person. Let's see if we can remember all that. Contact listing. Goodness. Of individuals by company. Of individuals by company. Includes contact, say, includes phone numbers, current positions, and that are open, and titles for the contact person. Includes phone numbers. Can't remember it for the life of me. Current positions that are open. And titles for the contact person. There we go. Titles for the contact person. So we can do alt text, and this is again something that will be seen if it can't be rendered for the person. So if it's somebody that has sight difficulties, that's the text that would appear or be read to them by the reader. Okay, we've already merged and split cells. Can't convert text to a table in the online version, so I'm not worried about that, or the other way, so it's not a big deal. I'm not sure that we can use formulas. We can try though. Let's see. So let's go to let's go ahead and open the sales document, and I'm going to remember this time. So if I go to here, we're going to open this one. Open in Word Online, and then we're trying to remember. So we'll find out if we can use formulas. Formulas are from Excel, so you can add things. That's a sum. So normally in a formula, I would type equal, and then I would type sum. Of course, I keep forgetting to File, Save As. Remember to save a copy first. Let's save it in a different folder. That way I can have my own copy of it. There we go. Apparently it's not sure what's going on, but so normally we can use formulas in tables, which means we can like add, as I said, add things together. We can average things. So we'll try. I'm not sure that it's going to work. So equals sum above would be, and yeah, I don't think we can use formulas in the online version, which is no big deal. I'm not too worried about that. We'll get to know more formulas in Excel, which I think you in the online version you can use those, but we could sum these all the way across, and so on and so forth, things like that. So so let's take a look and see if we have anything else. Yeah, we're not going to use formulas. That also means we can't use number formatting. So that's pretty much it. So for the most part, for the basic use of tables, we can do. We can add them either by typing in the numbers or by clicking and dragging. We can resize. We can format, things like that. We just can't do those kind of more fancier things, for lack of a better word. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, I have office hours this week, Thursday. So if you see this before Thursday, you can come in Thursday, 11 to 12. I'll be there on Zoom for help. Or you can always email with questions or send me a message through Synergy or even through Teams. I'll be checking those. So hope that everything's going well. I'll see you next time.